Hello, people. Hope you're in for a great day. Feel like I need to take you to a couple of extreme type thoughts on the issue of what it means to keep your faith. So often we use faith as like a bit of a backdoor thing, an escape thing. If nothing else works, let me try my faith. And if faith doesn't work, they will euphemize it, will rationalize it, will justify it. But I want to just take you to a couple of thoughts today. The first thing is the exclusive nature of our faith, and sometimes the extreme nature of where faith will take you. Let's talk about the exclusivity of this thing that we call faith. Faith is exclusive in the sense that the source of our faith, the object of our faith is not faith. The object of our faith is clearly God. Anybody who was ever anybody learned what it meant to trust God, because you can't trust yourself, you can't trust your feelings, but we do know that God has a good track record of being trusted. For our faith to evolve and to move away from worshiping and having faith in maybe other gods with little g's is a very critical thing for each one of us. But sadly, by human nature, well, while there is something else that I can trust, I'm probably going to trust that. And then as a last resort, I'll resort to prayer, to faith, and to trusting God. God's never impressed with that stuff. God says your faith is either in me or it's in the world. You've got to choose which one you want your faith to be in. When you have a faith like this, a faith that is exclusively, and that means you only have faith in one person, that is God. Everybody else can let you down. You understand the truth that if you have God, you have enough, even though you may have nothing. God is always enough. And the journey of our faith is to find that place in our lives where we understand that truth, that God is enough. If I have nothing other than God, I have enough. Our faith is based on an exclusive person, God himself. I'm excited to take you to the next aspect, and that is the extreme nature of where maybe your faith can take you. Now, the Bible is just totally full of all these wonderful extreme places where faith has taken different people. I just love particularly 1 Kings 18. Go home and read it. Or if you're at home, read it. It's the story of Elijah. And Elijah's on Mount Carmel. He summoned a meeting with King Ahab and all the false prophets of the day. 450 prophets of Baal, 400 prophets of Asherah, and they were all on the mountain. He summoned the whole nation of Israel to come and watch as they were standing there that day at his instruction to find out who the real God was. Will the real God stand up? And that's what that day was all about. So we read how Elijah took his cow and he slaughtered it. They took theirs, they slaughtered it. They built an altar, they put their cow on, so did he. And the prophets of Baal danced and sang and cut themselves and incredibly enthusiastically, but that God did not answer, because the objective was the God who answers by fire, let him be our God. Let's put our faith in him. At the end of the day, Elijah's exhausted, they're exhausted. Elijah goes to them and says, okay, guys, you're all bleeding to death, you're all miserable, my turn. He pours water on his offering, and then he stands back and he says, okay, God, this is it. Would you please come through for me? Because God, if you don't come through for me, I'm as good as dead. I am past the point of no return, and my faith and my trust is exclusively in you. I can't pull this off. I'll never be able to pull this down. I will never be able to answer what I'm just about to ask you to do. And the exclusivity of his faith was honored by God, honoring his answer to the extreme nature of what he was asking for. You know the story. Lightning came out of heaven, consumed his offering. He wiped out the 850 prophets that were false, and he stood before those people and he said, now you know who the real God is. Now, in that beautiful story, there's so many amazing lessons. The exclusivity of God. His object of faith was not in himself. He knew, I have nothing to offer this situation. I can do nothing to make this thing happen. My faith is in God. The extreme of his faith was simply this: God, if you don't come through for me, I'm as good as dead. That's extreme faith. God, if you don't answer by fire, these guys are going to wipe me out. By the end of the day, I will be dead. And so we see God answering his prayer and coming through for him, and the wonder of Elijah's victory on the mountain as he found out in the presence of the people that our God is the real God. All those other gods with little g's are exactly that. We have Jehovah God, a God who is perfect in all his ways, a God who you can totally put your faith in. Elijah had to go past the point of no return. That's what real faith looks like, where you say, I'm not going to trust anything else. I'm past the point of no return. I've put my altar there. I've put my cow. I've poured water on it. And I've called on your name, O God. And in the presence of people, they are watching me. I can't go back. There's no escape route. This is the highest extreme of what faith could possibly look like. God loved it. He says, man, Elijah, if you will trust me like that, then I'm going to totally come through for you. I'm going to answer your prayer, and I'm going to blow these people away. And look what happened. Pick up, people, the wonder of the exclusivity of who God is. Faith and other stuff, don't waste your time. Faith in God is where it's at. Sometimes that faith is going to lead you to a place of extreme faith, where if you can't trust God, you're done. You're done. And what a great place that is, especially when God comes through for you. So when you're acting under his instruction, don't go out there and start declaring fire out of heaven, outside of God having given to you a very exclusive and extreme instruction. When you act on that, you're as good as happy. It's as good as done. That's what I want to share with you today. That's where faith can lead you to extreme experiences of the wonder who God is. I hope you find that, man. I've just tasted a little of it in my life, and I'm going to tell you, it's exhilarating, it's exciting, and it's a great place to be. I hope you find the same thing. Cheers, you people. Do love you, you know that. You're awesome. See you soon. Bye.